Dean Winchester hated quiet roads at night. Quiet roads meant two things. Either the case was already dead, or it was about to get loud. The Impala rolled through the dark like it owned the lane. The headlights washed over empty trees and a worn sign that said there was a gas station 2 miles ahead. Sam sat with his laptop open on his knees. The screen glow made his face look pale. The 911 call was weird, he said. No words, just breathing. Then screaming. Dean kept his eyes on the road. That's not weird. That's Tuesday. Sam frowned. 3 calls. Same number. Same thing. And the location pings right on this stretch. Dean tapped the steering wheel. So we check it out. We salt, we burn, we go home. Maybe even sleep. Sam gave him a look. You just promised sleep. That's how I know this is bad. Dean was about to answer when the radio crackled hard. The sound popped like a spark. Then it went silent. Dean looked down at the dial. Okay. Now that's weird. A mile ahead, the air on the highway shifted. It did not move like fog. It did not shimmer like heat. It tore. A thin, bright line opened in the middle of the road, like someone cut the world with a sharp knife. The cut widened, slow and smooth, and the dark behind it did not look like normal dark. It looked deep, like a room with no walls. The Impala's engine coughed. Dean's stomach dropped. Sam? Sam was already leaning forward, eyes wide. That's not a normal rift. The cut opened wide enough for a person to step through, and someone did. A man walked out like he had all the time in the world. He wore a dark suit that fit perfectly. No dust, no blood, no fear. His shoes touched the asphalt, and the bright tear closed behind him without a sound. He looked up at the night sky, then at the trees, then at the Impala's headlights. His face was calm, almost bored, like he had seen 1,000 worlds and this one was just smaller. Dean slammed the brakes. The Impala stopped a few yards away. The headlights framed the stranger like a spotlight. The man turned his head toward them. His eyes caught the light. For 1 second, Dean thought he saw something old behind them. Not red, not demon black. Something else. Something that made Dean's skin prickle. Dean grabbed his gun. Stay in the car, he muttered to Sam, even though he knew Sam would ignore him. Sam was already opening his door. Dean, we don't know. Exactly. Dean stepped out, gun up. Hey, hands where I can see them! The stranger lifted one hand, palm out, like a peace sign. Hello. His voice was smooth, not friendly, not mean, just certain. Sam came around the hood, staying back. He glanced at Dean's gun, then at the stranger. Who are you? The man's mouth moved like he was deciding how honest to be. That depends on what kind of truth you can handle. Dean hated that answer. He hated it with his whole chest. Try me. Before the man could speak, a scream cut through the night. It came from the direction of the gas station ahead. It sounded human. Raw and scared. Dean's head snapped that way. We've got a situation. The stranger tilted his head. He listened. His eyes narrowed just a little. Something is feeding. Dean did not like that he said it like a fact. Dean pointed his gun toward the gas station. You stay right here. The man looked at Dean's weapon like it was a toy, but he did not laugh. I will not, he said calmly. Dean started toward the gas station anyway. Sam followed, pulling a knife from his jacket. The stranger walked with them, matching their pace like he belonged in the group. The gas station was lit with harsh yellow lights. One car sat by a pump with its door open. A clerk stood behind the glass, pounding on it from inside, eyes huge. Outside, near the dumpsters, a man was pressed against the wall by something that looked human at first glance. Then it turned its head. Its eyes were black pits. Its mouth split too wide. Its skin looked wrong, like it was stretched over something that did not fit. Dean raised his gun and fired. The thing jerked back, but it did not fall. It hissed, angry. Sam threw salt from a shaker in a fast circle. "Demon!" he shouted. Dean's brain ran through the steps. Shoot, trap, exorcise, survive. But the stranger did not follow steps. He stepped forward, not rushed, not afraid. He looked at the demon like he was disappointed. "Stop," the stranger said. The demon froze, not like it chose to, not like it was scared. Like time itself decided it was done moving. The demon's hand stayed mid-grab. Its head stayed half-turned. Even the clerk's pounding stopped, fist stuck against the glass. Dean's mouth went dry. "What the—" Sam whispered. "Dean, that's not telekinesis." The stranger walked up to the demon and stared into its black eyes. "You are hungry," he said softly, "and you are sloppy." The demon tried to speak. Its lips trembled, but the words would not come. The stranger placed 2 fingers on the demon's forehead. It looked gentle, like a tap. The demon's eyes flashed. Its body snapped straight like a puppet pulled by a string. Then it collapsed, not dead, but empty. Like whatever was inside it had been pulled out. The air warmed for a second, like a candle flame had passed close by. The clerk inside the store blinked and stumbled back, suddenly able to move again. He fell against a shelf, shaking. The stranger turned toward Dean and Sam. "It won't bother you again," he said. Dean's gun stayed up. His hands felt heavy. He had seen angels. He had seen demons. He had seen things that should not exist. But this was different. Sam stared at the demon's body. You just removed it." The stranger nodded, as if Sam had said the color of the sky. "Yes." Dean forced his voice to work. "Who are you?" The stranger's lips twitched, like he found the question simple and funny. "I told you, it depends." Dean stepped closer, gun still aimed. "No. Right now." The stranger held Dean's gaze. His calm did not crack. His eyes did not flinch. "I am the devil," the stranger said. Dean felt a cold line run down his spine. Sam's eyes widened. "That's impossible." The stranger looked at Sam like Sam was the first person to say something interesting all night. "Is it?" Behind the dumpsters, something scraped. A second demon, smaller, more afraid, peeked out from the shadows. It saw the stranger. Its face changed. Not anger, not hunger. Fear. It whispered one word, shaking. "Lightbringer?" Then it ran. Fast, disappearing into the dark like the night itself was chasing it. Dean swore under his breath. "Sam, get the keys." "Now." Sam hesitated. His eyes flicked from the stranger to Dean. "Dean, if he's lying, then he's a demon with a big mouth. And if he's not lying—" Dean did not finish that sentence. The stranger watched them like he was watching children argue about rules. "Where are we going?" he asked. Dean kept his gun up as he backed toward the Impala. "Someplace safer." The stranger's eyes moved to the car. For the first time, he looked curious. "Ah," he said. "A chariot." Dean almost choked. "It's a car." The stranger walked toward it anyway. "I like it." Sam slid into the passenger seat and started the engine with shaking hands. Dean moved around to the driver's side, never taking his eyes off the stranger. The stranger stopped beside the hood. He looked up at the sky again. This time, his calm slipped, just a little. Like he felt someone watching. Somewhere far away, something in the darkness shifted. A deep silence moved like a breath held too long. And somewhere else, in a place that looked like an ordinary room with an ordinary desk, a man paused his writing. He lifted his head and smiled, like a new character had just walked onto his stage. Dean did not see any of that. Dean only saw the stranger's face, still calm, still certain. Dean opened the driver's door. "Get in," he ordered. The stranger met his eyes. "You have courage," he said, almost approving. Dean tightened his grip on the gun. "Yeah, don't get used to it." The stranger slid into the back seat like he had done it 1,000 times. And Dean drove. The bunker door shut with a heavy metal thud. Dean liked that sound. It meant thick walls. It meant time to think. It meant the world had to knock before it came in. But nothing about tonight felt normal. The stranger stood in the main room, hands relaxed at his sides, looking around like he was touring a museum. He took in the shelves of books, the weapon racks, the map table, the lights in the ceiling. He seemed pleased. Dean stepped away from the door and drew a devil's trap on the floor with quick, sharp strokes. White chalk, perfect lines. He had done this 100 times. His hands did not shake. Sam stood nearby with a bottle of holy water. Castiel had not arrived yet. Dean wished he had. Dean did not love angels, but right now, he wanted backup that was not a shotgun. Dean pointed at the circle. "Step in." The stranger looked down at the symbol. "A cage," he said, like he was naming a thing on a shelf. "It's a test," Dean snapped. The stranger looked up. "You want to know what I am?" Sam watched the stranger's face carefully. Sam's voice was quieter than Dean's. "If you're not a threat, it won't hurt you." The stranger's eyes flicked to Sam. For a moment, Sam felt like the stranger could see every thought in his head, every fear, every hope, every lie Sam told himself just to get through the day. Then the stranger smiled a little. "You're the kind one," he said. Dean hated that too. "Step in." The stranger stepped into the devil's trap. Nothing happened. No sparks, no burn marks, no invisible wall slamming down. Sam blinked. "That should—" Dean tossed holy water across the circle. The water hit the stranger's shirt and rolled off like rain. No smoke, no scream. Dean's jaw tightened. He pulled iron cuffs from the table and threw them at the stranger's feet. "Put those on." The stranger looked at the cuffs. His face did not change. "No." Dean raised his gun again. "Try it." The stranger's eyes settled on the gun, then on Dean's face. He did not look scared. He looked patient. Dean felt his temper rise. "You said you're the devil." The stranger nodded once. "I did. And demon traps don't work. Holy water doesn't work." "So what are you?" Dean demanded. The stranger tilted his head. "A problem," he said, like it was the simplest answer. Sam stepped forward, careful. "We're hunters. We deal with monsters, angels, demons. We've met the devil before." At that, the stranger's eyes sharpened. "You have," he repeated. "Interesting." Dean saw the crack, just a small one, like the stranger did not expect that. Sam continued, "If you're who you say you are, then you know what's in this world. People suffer. They get used as pieces." The stranger's mouth tightened. "Yes," he said. "I can feel it." Dean glanced at Sam. Sam was doing his thing, talking, probing, trying to find the human part, even in something that might not have one. Dean's phone buzzed. An alert from a cheap credit card app. The fake card he used for motel rooms had been declined again. Great. Of course, always broke during the apocalypse. Dean shoved the phone back into his pocket like it offended him. The stranger noticed anyway. "You worry about money," the stranger said. Dean glared. "I worry about everything." Sam gave Dean a warning look, like, "Don't start a fight you can't finish." Dean ignored it. "Name," Dean said. "You got a name?" The stranger studied them for a moment, like he was choosing what to give. "Lucifer," he said. That is what I am called." The room went cold. Sam's eyes widened. Dean. Dean felt every muscle lock. He had heard that name in prayers, in threats, in screams, in the worst nights of his life. Lucifer, the archangel, the devil in their world. Dean raised his gun higher. "No," he said flatly. "No, you are not." Lucifer looked at Dean like Dean had made a small mistake. "And yet," he said, calm as ever. Sam swallowed hard. "Our Lucifer is an archangel, a very real one." Lucifer's expression flickered for the first time. Not fear, not surprise, more like annoyance. "This world has its own," Lucifer said slowly. Dean's grip tightened. "So you're lying." Lucifer's eyes returned to Dean, sharp and bright. "I do not lie," he said. Dean barked a short laugh. "Every monster says that." Lucifer took one step forward inside the trap. The chalk lines did not even glow. "Your rules are fragile," he said. "Your traps are hopeful." Sam raised the holy water again, though his hand shook a little. "If you don't lie, then tell us what you are." Lucifer's gaze moved away, as if he was looking at a memory far off. When he spoke, it came in clean, simple beats. "I was made for a purpose," he said. "I refused a leash. I left. I traveled. And I do not enjoy being told where I can and cannot stand." Dean heard the words, but his mind was stuck on one thing. This thing did not act like a demon. It did not smell like sulfur. It did not show hunger for pain. It did not even look impressed by their weapons. It was too calm, too controlled. That scared Dean more than a monster with fangs. Sam tried to keep his voice steady. "You came through a tear in the road." "Why?" Lucifer's eyes narrowed. "I did not choose this location," he said. "But something opened a door. I walked through. That is what I do." Dean paced along the edge of the trap like a guard dog. "So you just wander into universes?" Lucifer's lips twitched. "When I am bored," he said. Sam exhaled slowly. "That's not comforting." Lucifer looked at Sam again. "This world reeks of control," he said. "Angels, demons, rules, scripts. You can taste it in the air." Dean froze. "Scripts?" Lucifer's gaze went distant again. "Yes," he said. "Like someone wrote it." Sam's heart thumped hard. He had felt that before, that awful sense that their lives were being pushed along rails. Dean's voice went rough. "We are not doing this." Lucifer glanced at Dean, then at the walls. "You built a bunker," he said. "A hiding place. You call it safety. Yet, the sky can still fall through your roof." As if the world wanted to prove him right, the lights flickered. A gust of cold air cut through the room, even though there were no windows open. Then Castiel appeared in a burst of wings no one could see, only feel. His coat flared as if he had stepped through a storm. He looked at Dean and Sam first, quick. Then his eyes locked on Lucifer. Castiel's face changed. His lips parted slightly. His breathing stopped for a beat. Dean felt a small, sharp relief. Cass was here. Good. Then he saw Castiel's expression, and the relief died. Castiel's eyes were full of fear he did not want to admit. "Dean," Castiel said softly. Dean did not take his eyes off Lucifer. "Cass," he said. "Tell me I'm hallucinating?" Castiel did not answer right away. He stared at Lucifer like he was staring at a sun too close. "You are not him," Castiel said finally. Lucifer's gaze slid to Castiel with interest. "And you are an angel," he said. "You are damaged, but loyal." Castiel's jaw tightened. "Who are you?" Lucifer's face held that calm certainty again. "Lucifer," he repeated. Castiel shook his head once, small. "No," Castiel said. "The Lucifer I know is an archangel. He's bound." "He is—" Lucifer's eyes narrowed. "Bound," he echoed. The word sounded like an insult. Dean cut in, voice sharp. So what is he, Cass? Castiel swallowed. I don't know, he admitted. But he feels older than the host, I understand. He does not fit. Sam leaned toward Castiel, keeping his voice low like the stranger could not hear, even though he probably could. He stopped a demon without killing the vessel. Castiel's eyes flicked to Sam. I know, he said. I felt it. Dean's mind raced. If he's not our Lucifer, then what? Another one. A copy. Lucifer listened like he enjoyed the confusion. I'm not a copy, he said. Sam tried to steer the moment back to something solid. Okay, Sam said, slow. We need facts. Cass, can heaven see him? Castiel hesitated. That was answer enough. Dean's stomach tightened. Oh, great. Castiel said it anyway. Yes, he said. They can feel the disturbance. They will come. Lucifer's eyes sharpened, like the idea amused him. Let them, he said. Dean slammed a palm on the table. No. He pointed at Lucifer. You don't get to say, let them, like we're not the ones who'll bleed. Lucifer looked at Dean with something close to respect. You are brave, he said again. But you are tired. Dean's throat tightened. He hated that the stranger could see it. Sam stepped between them, not blocking Dean, but changing the angle. Listen, Sam said. We don't know what you want. Lucifer's answer was simple. I want to be left alone, he said. Dean let out a harsh laugh. Then you picked the wrong universe. Lucifer's eyes glinted. So it seems. A sound came from deeper in the bunker, a metal scrape, like a door far away shifting. Dean's head snapped toward it. Sam's too. Castiel stiffened. Then a voice came from the speaker system, thin and distorted. It wasn't the bunker's system. It was something else, hijacking it. A woman's voice, cold and careful. The anomaly has been confirmed, it said. Castiel's face went pale. That's an angel. Dean stared at the speakers like he wanted to shoot them. How are they? Lucifer turned his head slightly, listening. Ah, he said. Quiet. The management has arrived. The voice continued. Surrender the entity. This is not negotiable. Dean looked at Lucifer. Entity, he repeated. That's you. Lucifer's eyes stayed on the ceiling. They speak like jailers, he said. Castiel's hands tightened into fists. Dean, he warned. If heaven thinks he is a threat... Dean's jaw clenched. If heaven thinks, Dean muttered. That's how wars start. Sam took a steady breath. We need a plan. Dean's eyes moved to the chalk circle, then to Lucifer, then to Castiel, then to Sam. Dean's voice went hard and flat. The plan is, Dean said, we keep him here. We watch him. We make sure he doesn't turn into the worst thing we've ever seen. Lucifer looked at Dean, and for the first time, his calm dipped into something sharper. Not rage, not yet, just a line. I do not accept cages, Lucifer said. Dean met his gaze. And we don't accept devils. A beat of silence. Then Lucifer's face smoothed again. Very well, he said. Observe me. Sam did not like that he sounded like he was letting them. Castiel leaned toward Dean and whispered. This is bigger than us. Dean whispered back. It's always bigger than us. The bunker light steadied again. The speaker went quiet. But the pressure in the air did not leave. Somewhere above, angels were turning their faces toward this place. Somewhere below, demons were sniffing the wind for a crown to steal. And somewhere else, far beyond both, something listened in silence. Like it was waiting for the moment everyone stopped moving. Dean did not know any of that for sure. He only knew one thing. Whatever this Lucifer was, their lives had just gotten worse. And in Dean Winchester's world, that was saying something. The town was small enough to miss if you blinked. A few streets, a diner, a gas station, a church with a crooked steeple. Snow on the edges of the road that never fully melted. Sam stood in the diner parking lot with his phone pressed to his ear. He listened to the sheriff talk about missing people, about strange burns on door frames, about cold spots that made dogs howl. He glanced at Dean, who leaned on the Impala with his arms crossed. Dean's face said, "I already hate this case." Lucifer sat on the hood like it was a bench, legs crossed, looking at the sky. He looked too clean for the town. Too calm, like the dirt and fear could not touch him. Dean still did not like that the stranger rode with them, but letting him out of sight felt worse. Sam ended the call and sighed. 3 people missing, Sam said. Last seen near the church. One of them was a kid. Dean's face tightened. Demons, he said. Castiel stood a few steps away, looking down the street. He looked tense, like he was holding his breath. Sam noticed. "What is it?" Sam asked. Castiel's eyes stayed on the horizon. "Angels," he said quietly. Dean's shoulders tensed. "How many?" Castiel frowned. "Enough." Lucifer looked over his shoulder, like someone had said his name in a crowded room. "They are loud," he said. "Their grace burns the air." Dean's hand went to the gun under his jacket. "We can handle angels." Lucifer's eyes moved to Dean's gun. "You can survive angels," he corrected. "Handling is different." Dean's glare sharpened. "You want to do this?" Dean snapped. "You want to mouth off while kids disappear?" Lucifer's face stayed calm. "Then let us go," he said, and slid off the hood. Sam blinked. "Wait, we're going to the church." Lucifer started walking. "The missing are there," he said, like he could already hear them. Dean looked at Sam. "I hate this," he muttered, then followed anyway. The church doors were shut. The windows were dark. The snow around the steps was disturbed, like someone had dragged something heavy inside. Dean pulled the door open with a creak. The air inside was cold. Not normal cold. The kind that settled in your bones. Sam's breath fogged. "EMF is spiking," he said, checking his meter. Castiel's eyes narrowed. "There's a sigil," he said. "Hidden." "It's old." Dean scanned the floor. "Show me." Castiel pointed at the base of a pillar, a faint marking scratched into wood. Dean crouched and swore. "That's not a demon trap," Dean said. That's angel work." Sam's stomach dropped. "Angels took them?" Dean straightened, angry now. "Angels don't take kids." Castiel's voice was tight. "They do when they think it serves a larger purpose." Lucifer's eyes moved across the church like he was reading a book. "They are using humans as bait," he said. Sam's throat went dry. "Bait for what?" Lucifer looked at them. His eyes were sharp. "For me." Dean's blood turned cold. "So this is about you," Dean said. "Of course it is." A sound echoed from below the altar. A thump. A small cry. Sam rushed forward. "Someone's down there." Dean grabbed Sam's arm. "Careful." Lucifer stepped past them without asking. He moved to the altar and placed his hand on the wood. The wood did not creak. It did not resist. It simply shifted aside like it wanted to obey. A hidden trap door opened. Dean stared. "You could have told us it was there." Lucifer looked back. "You would have argued," he said. Dean wanted to yell. He did not, because Sam was already dropping into the hole. Sam landed in a small basement room. Candles burned along the walls. 3 people were tied to chairs. One was a boy, maybe 10, eyes wide and wet. The boy looked up and choked out, "Help!" Sam rushed to him. Hey, it's okay," Sam said, working at the ropes. "I'm Sam. We're getting you out." Dean climbed down behind him, gun up, scanning. Castiel dropped in next, coat flaring. Lucifer stepped down last like stairs appeared for him. Then the candles flared bright. The room shook, and a voice spoke from the shadows above, not from one mouth, but from many. "We found it," the voice said. Dean's eyes snapped up. Figures stood at the top of the trapdoor stairs. Not demons, not humans, angels. Their faces looked human, but their eyes were wrong. Too focused, too empty. Like soldiers waiting for an order. The one in the center spoke again. "You will come with us." Castiel stiffened. "You cannot do this," he said. The angel's eyes slid to Castiel. "You are compromised," it said. "Step aside." Dean's grip tightened. "Over my dead body." The angel's gaze moved to Dean like Dean was dust. "That can be arranged." Sam stepped in front of the boy without thinking. "Stop," Sam said, voice shaking but firm. "These people are innocent." The angel did not even blink. "They are necessary." Dean felt rage burn up his throat. He had heard that word too many times. Necessary. Like pain was math. Lucifer watched the angels with a calm face, but his eyes were colder now. "You took children," he said softly, "to lure me." The angel leader lifted its chin. "You do not belong here," it said. "Your existence disrupts the order." Lucifer's smile was small and sharp. "Order," he repeated, a pretty word for control. The angels moved. Dean fired. Salt rounds sparked against one angel's chest. The angel barely flinched. Castiel raised his hand, trying to push back with his grace. The angels pushed harder. Castiel staggered. Sam grabbed the boy's chair and dragged it back, trying to shield him. Dean's mind screamed for a plan. Traps. Sigils. Anything. But the angels did not care about human tricks. The angel leader lifted a hand, and Dean felt a pressure in his chest like an invisible fist. Dean's knees buckled. Sam shouted, "Dean!" The boy screamed. Then Lucifer stepped forward. He did not rush. He did not roar. He simply moved into the center of the room, between the angels and the humans. He looked up at the angel leader and said, clear and calm, "No." The pressure on Dean's chest vanished. Dean sucked in air like he had been drowning. The angels froze. Not from fear, from force. Time stopped again. The candles held their flames in place. Dust in the air hung still. Even Sam's breath paused mid-exhale. Dean could still move. Sam could still move. Castiel could still move. The angels could not. Sam stared, shaken. "How are we?" Lucifer did not look at Sam. His eyes stayed on the angels. "I allowed you to move," he said. Dean's skin crawled. He hated that the word allowed made sense. Lucifer walked up the stairs, step by step, toward the frozen angels. Dean followed, gun ready, though it felt useless now. At the top, Lucifer stood inches from the angel leader. The angel's eyes were locked forward, trapped. Lucifer studied it like a broken machine. "You serve heaven," Lucifer said. The angel did not answer. It could not. Lucifer's voice stayed quiet. "Do you know what you are?" he asked. Dean frowned. "What are you doing?" Lucifer did not answer Dean either. He placed 2 fingers on the angel leader's forehead, the same way he had with the demon. Dean tensed, expecting fire. Death. Something huge. Instead, the angel's eyes cleared for 1 second, like a person woke up inside the soldier. A whisper slipped out, thin and terrified. "He's watching." Then the angel's face went blank again. Lucifer pulled his hand away, jaw tight now. "Of course," he said. Dean's heart hammered. "Who's watching?" Dean demanded. Lucifer's eyes flicked to Dean. "Not your angels," he said. "Not your demons." Sam climbed up, still keeping the boy and the others close behind. "Lucifer," Sam said carefully, like he was speaking to a bomb. We need to leave. Now." Castiel's voice was strained. "More are coming," he warned. "I can feel them." Dean glanced around the church above. The walls felt thinner now, like the world was leaning closer. Lucifer looked up at the ceiling as if he could see through stone and sky. "Yes," he said. "They are arriving." Dean's anger flared again. "Then undo your time thing and let's go." Lucifer's eyes narrowed. "If I release them, they will strike," he said. Dean snapped. "So what? You'll just do it again." Lucifer's face turned cold. "You are thinking small," he said. "This is not one squad. This is a message." Sam's voice rose. "Kids are missing because of that message." Lucifer's gaze slid to Sam, and something in it softened for half a beat. Then it hardened again. "Then watch," Lucifer said. He lifted his hand. The frozen angels lifted off the floor. Dean's eyes widened. "Oh, come on." The angels floated, stiff and helpless, like mannequins held by invisible strings. Lucifer moved them away from the stairs and set them gently against the church wall, lined up like warning signs. Then he stepped to the church doors and opened them. Outside, the air shimmered. Figures appeared in flashes of light. 1, 2, 5. More. Angels. Arriving in formation, eyes locked on the church like weapons pointed at a target. Dean counted fast and felt sick. "That's a lot," he muttered. Castiel's face was tight. "They believe they are protecting heaven," he said. Lucifer stepped out into the cold night. Dean grabbed his arm without thinking. It was stupid. Dean knew it was stupid the second his hand touched that suit sleeve. Lucifer looked down at Dean's hand. He did not move. He did not threaten. Dean forced the words out anyway. "Don't start a war." Lucifer's eyes held Dean's. "I didn't," he said. Then he walked into the open. The angels raised their hands. Light gathered around them. The air crackled. Lucifer stood still. He did not flinch. Sam watched from the doorway, holding the boy close as the kid shook. Sam's mind ran fast. If Lucifer fought, the town could be wiped out by accident. If Lucifer didn't fight, angels would kill him or take him. And then what? Castiel whispered. "This is impossible." Dean's fingers tightened around his gun. He felt useless. He hated feeling useless. The angel leader outside spoke, voice like a courtroom verdict. "Kneel," it commanded. Lucifer's mouth curved slightly, not a smile, a warning. "No," he said again. The angels struck. Beams of grace shot toward him like spears of light. Lucifer lifted one hand. The beams stopped in midair, a few feet from his chest, hanging there like bright ropes. The angels' eyes widened. Some looked scared. Others looked angry. They pushed harder. Lucifer's hand closed into a fist. The beams folded. They did not explode. They did not hit anyone else. They simply collapsed into nothing. Dean exhaled without meaning to. Lucifer stepped forward, closing the distance between himself and the angels, like the space did not matter. He spoke, calm but louder now. "You do not get to use humans as tools," he said. "You do not get to call cruelty order." The angel leader's jaw tightened. "You are an intrusion," it said. Lucifer's eyes flashed with something old and sharp. "And you," he said, "are a soldier who forgot what you were made to protect." The angels moved as a group, trying to surround him. Lucifer did not move like a fighter. He moved like a decision. The air around the angels pressed down, not crushing, not killing, controlling. Dean watched, stunned, as a full squad of heaven's soldiers dropped to one knee, like gravity chose them alone. Castiel stared in shock. He's overriding them," Castiel whispered. Sam's stomach turned. "He could do that to anyone," Sam whispered back. Lucifer looked at the kneeling angels. "Leave," he said. The angel leader strained. "We cannot." Lucifer's gaze went past them, into the night, like he was talking to someone else now. "Tell your masters," Lucifer said softly, "that I do not belong to them." For a second, Dean thought the air itself paused. Then, far away, a sound rolled across the sky. Not thunder, not wings. A deep, quiet pressure, like someone turning a page. Lucifer's eyes narrowed. The angel leader suddenly jerked like it had been yanked by a hook. Its face twisted, and a new voice slipped out, wrong and amused. "Now this," the voice said, "is interesting." Dean's blood ran cold. What the hell was that? Castiel's face went pale. "That wasn't an angel," he whispered. "That was something else using it." Lucifer's calm cracked, just a little. His eyes sharpened like blades. The angel leader's mouth moved again, still not its own. "You don't like cages," the voice said, playful. "Neither do I. But I do like stories." Lucifer's voice was low. "Show yourself." The angel's face smiled with a smile that did not fit. "Not yet," the voice said. "Not when the audience is still learning your name." Sam's breath caught. "Audience?" Dean's mind screamed, "No, not again. Not this." The voice chuckled through the angel's mouth. "Run along, boys," it said, like it was talking to Dean and Sam too. "Take your people home. Let's see what your new friend does next." The angel leader blinked. The smile vanished. The borrowed voice was gone. The angels around Lucifer looked confused, like they had lost a second of memory. Lucifer's hand lifted slightly, and the pressure released. The angels staggered back, breathing hard like they had been underwater. They looked scared now, not just angry. The leader stood tall again, trying to regain control. "We will return," it said, voice shaking with forced pride. Lucifer's eyes stayed cold. "You will," he agreed, "but you will not take them." Dean expected Lucifer to attack, to wipe them out, to do something final. He didn't. Lucifer turned his head slightly, just enough to glance at Sam and Dean in the doorway. "Leave," he said, not as a request. Dean hated being told what to do, but the boy in Sam's arms was shaking. The other two adults were barely standing, and more angels could show up any second. Dean swore. "Fine," he growled. "We're leaving." Sam moved fast, guiding the freed victims toward the Impala. Dean covered them, gun up, eyes scanning. Castiel stayed close to Lucifer, tense. "You shouldn't provoke them," Castiel said under his breath. Lucifer's eyes stayed on the angels. "I did not provoke," he said. "They came." Castiel swallowed. "Heaven will call you a threat." Lucifer's voice was quiet. "Heaven calls anything a threat that refuses to kneel." Dean shoved the last victim into the back of the Impala with a blanket. The kid clung to Sam's coat. Sam's face was tight with worry. Dean slammed the car door and looked back. Lucifer stood in front of the church like he was a wall. The angels backed away, not because they wanted to, but because they had learned something hard. They could not win clean. Not here. Not like this. As the Impala pulled away, Dean watched Lucifer in the side mirror. For a moment, the stranger looked almost normal, just a man in a suit in the snow. Then the streetlights flickered, and Dean felt it again. That sense that someone, somewhere, was watching them like they were part of a plan. Sam's voice shook slightly as he drove. "Dean, did you hear that voice?" Dean stared out the window. "Yeah," he said. Sam swallowed. It sounded like Chuck, like that same kind of, "Don't say it," Dean snapped too fast. Then he forced himself to breathe. "We deal with what's in front of us." Sam nodded, but his eyes stayed scared. In the back seat, the kid whispered, "Is that man good?" Sam looked back at him and tried to smile. I don't know, Sam said honestly. But he didn't let them hurt you. Dean's jaw tightened as the Impala ate the road. Behind them, the church got smaller. The angels vanished into the night. And the stranger called Lucifer followed in silence, eyes on the dark sky, like he was already tracking the hand that moved the pieces. Dean gripped the wheel harder, because one thing was clear now. This wasn't just another hunt. This was a new kind of problem, and the whole world had started to notice. The hospital lights were too bright. They always were. Sam stood at the check-in desk with a fake name ready on his tongue. Dean stood a step behind him, arms crossed, eyes scanning the room like trouble might crawl out of a vending machine. The two adults they rescued sat in plastic chairs, wrapped in blankets. The boy sat between them, small and shaking, but alive. He kept looking toward the sliding doors like he expected angels to walk in at any second. Dean didn't blame him. Outside in the parking lot, the Impala idled. Castiel stood near the far corner, where the security camera couldn't see him well. Lucifer leaned against a lamppost, like he had been born there. His suit still looked clean. His face looked calm. His eyes kept drifting up to the sky, like he was listening to something most people could not hear. Sam finished talking to the nurse. He walked back fast. "They'll take them in," Sam said. "They're going to run tests. They'll ask questions." Dean snorted. "They always ask questions." Sam lowered his voice. "We can't stay." Dean's eyes flicked to the kid, then to the doors, then to Lucifer outside. "No kidding." Castiel stepped closer, tense. "The angels have not stopped searching," he said. "They will adjust." Dean's jaw tightened. "So what? They bring more. We bring more salt." Castiel shook his head. "It isn't that simple." Lucifer's voice came from behind them, like he hadn't walked up but was suddenly there. "It is never that simple," he said. Dean turned sharply, hand already near his gun. He hated how quiet Lucifer could be. He hated how the air felt when he got close, like the world held its breath. Sam met Lucifer's eyes, trying to stay steady. "You said they used people as bait for you." "They did," Lucifer answered. Dean pointed toward the hospital doors. "They almost got a kid killed," Dean said. "Because of you." Lucifer's gaze slid toward the boy. It stayed there a moment longer than Dean expected. "Because of them," Lucifer corrected. His voice stayed calm, but something colder sat under the words. "They made the choice." Sam looked tired. "Angels don't see it like that." Lucifer's mouth twitched. "Then angels are failing," he said. Castiel flinched like the words hit him. He didn't argue. Dean did. "Okay," Dean said, voice low and sharp. "Listen up, Morningstar. I don't care what you are. I don't care what you think angels should be. In our world, you don't poke heaven unless you want the whole place falling on your head." Lucifer's eyes turned to Dean. "And in your world," he said, "you live like hostages." Dean stepped closer, chin high. "We live. That's the point." Lucifer didn't back away. "Do you?" he asked, soft and blunt. Dean's throat tightened. For 1 second, he had no answer. Not a good one. Sam stepped in before Dean could explode. "We need to get back to the bunker," Sam said. "We need to figure out what just happened." "That voice," Dean cut him off fast. "We are not talking about that in public." Sam's eyes hardened. "Dean, it matters." Dean's eyes flashed. "Everything matters. That's the problem." Castiel looked between them. The voice was not angelic, he said quietly. It was familiar, but wrong. Lucifer's head tilted. "It was wearing an angel," he said, like you might say someone was wearing a mask. Sam swallowed. "You think someone hijacked the angel?" Lucifer's gaze went up again, as if the sky was a ceiling and he was staring through it. "I think," he said, that someone here believes they own the story. Dean's hand curled into a fist. Don't say that word. Lucifer looked at him. Story? He asked, as if he enjoyed Dean's hatred of it. You've heard it before. Sam's face tightened. He couldn't deny it. Dean shoved his hands into his jacket. His phone buzzed again. He yanked it out, checked it, and swore. Sam glanced. Credit card. Dean snapped the phone back into his pocket. Shut up. Lucifer watched the exchange with mild interest. You worry about money, he said again. Dean glared. Yeah, well, gas costs money. Lucifer's eyes flicked to the Impala like it was a pet. I could make your tank full forever, he said, like it was nothing. Sam's stomach dropped. No, Sam said quickly. No easy fixes. Not in our world. Lucifer turned to Sam. Why not? Sam held his ground. Because every time something is free in this world, someone pays later, Sam said. Usually in blood. Lucifer seemed to consider that. Then he nodded once, almost respectful. This place is built on debt, he said. Dean pointed at him. And you, Dean said, are not paying with my brother's life. Or that kid's. Or anyone. Lucifer met Dean's eyes. Then keep your people out of my way, he said calmly, and I will keep the heavens out of yours. Dean almost laughed. Yeah, good luck with that. They left in a hurry. Sam drove. Dean watched the mirrors. Castiel sat stiff in the back seat, staring at nothing like he was listening to a radio no one else could hear. Lucifer sat beside him, relaxed, like a man riding home after dinner. As the town lights faded behind them, Sam finally spoke. What you did, Sam said, eyes on the road. Back at the church, you stopped them. You didn't kill them. Lucifer's voice was even. They were tools, he said. Breaking tools is easy. Breaking the hand that holds them is harder. Dean's eyes narrowed. You saying angels didn't choose? Lucifer looked at him. Some chose, Lucifer said. Some were pushed. The one who spoke wasn't fully present. Something else leaned through. Castiel's voice was tight. Chuck, he said. Dean's shoulders stiffened. Cass. Castiel didn't look at Dean. It sounded like him, he said, low. The cadence, the tone, the amusement. Sam's knuckles whitened on the wheel. So what? Sam asked. He's back to writing our lives again? Dean's teeth clenched. He stared out the window like the dark trees were safer than that thought. Lucifer's voice cut through the silence. Who is Chuck? He asked. Sam hesitated. How do you explain that to anyone? How do you explain it to something that might be older than your whole universe? Dean answered anyway, rough and short. He's trouble. Sam forced the words out more clearly. He said he was a prophet, Sam said. Then we found out he was more. A lot more. Lucifer's eyes sharpened. A god, he said. Not as a question. Castiel's jaw tightened. Yes, Lucifer's smile was small and cold. So, he said softly, this world has a king. Dean snapped, don't. Lucifer looked at Dean, calm as ever. You hate kings, he said. Good. So do I. The bunker door shut behind them again. Dean felt the same brief relief, then the same dread. Because Lucifer walked past the devil's trap like it was a chalk drawing made by children. He didn't even glance down. Dean followed him into the war room, tossing keys on the table. All right, Dean said, voice hard. New rules. You don't leave without us. You don't use your whatever near civilians. And you don't start fights with heaven. Lucifer turned slowly. You cannot give me rules, he said. Dean stepped closer. Watch me. Lucifer's gaze moved over Dean like a scanner, not judging, measuring. Your courage is real, Lucifer said. Your anger is real. Your fear is real. You use them like armor. Dean's eyes flashed. And you use your calm like you don't care. Lucifer's eyes went colder. I care, he said. I simply refuse to pretend. Sam stepped in, steadying his voice. We need information, Sam said. Cass, can you reach any friendly angels? Castiel looked pained. Heaven is fractured, he said, and many are afraid. Fear makes them obey. Dean snorted. Yeah, welcome to the club. Sam turned to Lucifer. And you, Sam said. If you're telling the truth, if you don't lie, tell us what you want. Lucifer's answer came fast. Freedom, he said. And truth. Dean scoffed. Yeah, every bad guy says that. Lucifer's eyes cut to Dean. I'm not from your bad guy list, he said. Your world already has a Lucifer. I am not him. Castiel's eyes lifted. That is still unbelievable. Lucifer's gaze shifted to Castiel. You have met the monster wearing my name, he said. I can feel your scars. Castiel stiffened. He didn't deny it. Sam's voice stayed careful. You said you felt a story, like someone wrote it. Dean slammed a palm on the table. Stop. Sam didn't back down. Dean, we can't ignore it. Dean's voice rose. Yes, we can. We have ignored it before. Lucifer watched them argue like he was watching a familiar pattern. He fears losing control, Lucifer said, nodding toward Dean. You fear living a lie, he said, nodding toward Sam. Sam's breath caught. It hit too close. Dean's face hardened. You don't get to psychoanalyze us. Lucifer's eyes flicked toward the bunker ceiling again. Someone else already does, he said. The lights flickered once, just once. Dean felt his heart stutter. Castiel whispered, He's listening. Sam's voice went quiet. Then maybe we should speak like it matters. Dean stared at Sam. He wanted to say no. He wanted to shut it down. But he also knew Sam was right. Dean turned to Lucifer. Fine, Dean said. You want truth? Here's truth. People in this world get used. All the time. Angels use them. Demons use them. Even God used them. We are done being used. Lucifer's eyes stayed on Dean. Then stop, he said simply. Dean barked a humorless laugh. Oh, great. Why didn't I think of that? Lucifer's tone stayed calm. You are already fighting, he said. But you fight like soldiers in a war you didn't choose. You accept the battlefield. Sam felt something twist in his chest. So what? Sam asked. You think you can just rewrite the rules? Lucifer's eyes glinted. I think I can see the rules, he said. And I think I can find the hand that holds them. Dean's skin prickled. And then what? Dean demanded. You punch God? Lucifer's smile appeared, small and sharp. If he bleeds, Lucifer said, he is not truly a god. Castiel's face went pale. He is not like the others, Castiel warned, voice strained. In this universe, Chuck is the foundation. Lucifer looked at Castiel with a flat honesty. Foundations can be broken, he said. That is why people fear earthquakes. Dean's mouth tightened. Don't talk like that. Lucifer's eyes stayed cold. You want your world to keep its cage? He asked. Dean's voice came out low. I want people to live. Lucifer's gaze softened a fraction. So do I, he said. But I will not accept a world that lives only because it obeys. Before Dean could answer, a sound echoed through the bunker, a low hum, then a crackle. The bunker's old radio lit up on its own, the one Dean didn't even use anymore. A voice poured out, smooth and smug. Winchesters, the voice said. You really know how to bring home stray dogs. Dean's eyes narrowed. Crowley. Sam's stomach dropped. How did he? Crowley chuckled through the speaker. Oh, spare me. When the sky sneezes, hell catches a cold, he said. And tonight, It feels like a bloody flu. Dean leaned toward the radio. Not a good time. It's always a good time when something world-ending walks into my backyard, Crowley said. Now, I want to chat. Lucifer stepped closer to the radio. Crowley's voice paused like it felt him. Then Crowley spoke again, slower now. Oh, Crowley said, voice going careful. Hello. Lucifer's voice was calm. King, he said. Crowley laughed, but it sounded forced. Don't call me that, he snapped. Then he cleared his throat like he remembered who he was talking to. Right. Listen, whoever you are, I can offer you something. Dean rolled his eyes. He's offering you a deal, Dean muttered to Lucifer. Because of course he is. Crowley kept going. Information, safe passage, certain privileges, if you meet me in person. Sam leaned close. Crowley, no. Crowley ignored him. Winchesters, bring your friend to an empty place, he said. I'd rather not ruin my carpets. Lucifer's eyes narrowed. You want to measure me, Lucifer said. Crowley's voice turned sharp. I want to survive, he said. And if you are what I think you are, then there are thrones shaking tonight. Lucifer's mouth twitched. Thrones, he echoed, amused and annoyed at once. Dean jabbed a finger at the radio. We're not doing this, Crowley sighed. Fine. If you won't come to me, I'll send someone to you. Someone you won't shoot on sight, he said. Someone with manners? The radio clicked off. Dean stared at it like it had insulted his mother. He's sending Rowena, Dean said. Sam blinked. How do you know? Dean pointed at the radio like it was obvious. Because he said manners. That's her whole thing. Manners and murder. Castiel's voice was low. Demons sense you, he told Lucifer. They are afraid. But fear makes them bold, too. They may try desperate acts. Lucifer turned away from the radio. Let them try, he said, but his eyes were no longer bored. They were sharp, focused. Sam took a breath. He chose his words carefully. You said you want freedom, Sam said. So, what do you do when you have it? What's the point? Lucifer looked at him for a long moment. It was the first time he didn't answer right away. I build, Lucifer said at last. I create. I learn. I walk away from people who think they own me. Dean scoffed. Sounds like running. Lucifer's eyes flicked to Dean, and the air cooled. Running is fear, Lucifer said. Leaving is choice. Sam swallowed. Okay, Sam said. Then here's the question. If you can do anything, why not fix everything? Why not stop every demon, every angel, every monster? Forever? Dean's head snapped toward Sam. Dude. But Sam kept his eyes on Lucifer. He needed the answer. Lucifer's face stayed calm, but something hard sat under his eyes. Because control is not kindness, Lucifer said. If I force a perfect world onto people, I become the same tyrant you already hate. Sam's voice cracked slightly. So, we just let kids get used as bait? Lucifer's gaze sharpened. No, he said. We stop the ones doing it. Dean exhaled through his nose. And how do we stop the hand holding the rules? Dean asked, bitter. Because if Chuck is back on his throne, we're... Dean stopped himself. He hated saying it. Lucifer finished it for him. You are characters, Lucifer said, blunt. Dean's face went white with rage. Don't. Lucifer didn't back away. You already know it, he said. You fear it, because it makes your pain feel staged. Sam's throat tightened. That's exactly how it feels, Sam whispered. Castiel looked broken for a second. God should not treat people like ink, he said. Lucifer's eyes softened a fraction at that. Then they turned cold again. Then I will find him, Lucifer said. Dean's voice went hard. And do what? Lucifer's answer was quiet. "Ask him," Lucifer said. "And if he lies, I will remind him that cages cut both ways." A knock echoed through the bunker hall. Dean spun, gun up instantly. Sam grabbed an angel blade from the table. Castiel stiffened. Lucifer didn't move. He just listened. The knock came again. Slow. Polite. Like the person knocking knew exactly how to be annoying. Dean stalked to the door and looked through the peephole. A red-haired woman stood outside in a fancy coat that did not belong underground. She smiled right at the door like she could see him through the metal. Dean muttered, "Yep." He opened it with the gun aimed. Rowena stepped in like she owned the bunker. "Hello, darling," she sang. Her eyes gleamed with delight. "Oh, the secrets in this place. It's like a library made by paranoid children." Dean's gun didn't drop. "Get to the point." Rowena's gaze drifted past him, straight to Lucifer. Her smile froze. Not fear, exactly. More like a smart person seeing a storm and deciding whether to run or dance. "Oh," Rowena whispered, voice softer now. "You're not the one I know." Lucifer looked at her with calm interest. "Which?" he said. Rowena swallowed, then regained her smile like it was armor. "Yes," she said. "And you, handsome stranger." "You're trouble." Lucifer's mouth twitched. "So is your son," Lucifer said. Rowena's eyes narrowed. "Crowley is my son," she said, as if Lucifer had stepped on a toe. "And if he sent me, it's because he's terrified." Lucifer stepped closer. Rowena didn't move. That alone impressed Dean, just a little. Rowena lifted her chin. "I came to look," she said, honest now. "To feel what you are, to see if you're real, and," her voice dipped, "to keep myself alive." Sam watched her carefully. "What do you know?" Rowena's gaze flicked to Sam, then to Dean. "Oh, lots," she said. "Heaven is buzzing like a beehive. Hell is arguing about who gets to kneel first, and something else, something older than your petty angel wars, is paying attention." Castiel's eyes tightened. "The empty," he said. Rowena gave him a sharp look. "Maybe," she said. "Or maybe something that writes." Dean's stomach dropped again. "Stop saying that," he snapped. Rowena shrugged. "It's true," she said. "You boys have been in a story for years. Don't act surprised when the author picks up a new toy." Lucifer's eyes went colder. "Author," he repeated. "So you know." Rowena lifted one finger. "I know enough to be scared," she said. "And I know enough to offer you something." Dean groaned. "Of course?" Rowena smiled at Dean like he was adorable. Then she turned to Lucifer. "If you want to find the one pulling strings," she said, "you need a door that is not made of wood and hinges. You need a cosmic archive." Sam's breath caught. "Like Death's library." Rowena's eyes widened with pleased surprise. "Oh, you are clever," she said to Sam. "Yes, exactly." Castiel looked tense. "That place is dangerous." Rowena waved a hand. "Everything is dangerous," she said. "But this is different. There are records there, rules, names, paths, things that shouldn't be written down." Lucifer's gaze sharpened like a blade. "Take me," he said. Dean stepped forward. "No," Dean snapped. "Absolutely not." Lucifer turned to Dean. Calm. "You cannot stop me." Dean's voice rose. "Watch me try." Sam stepped between them again, breath tight. "Dean," Sam said, "we need answers. If Chuck is involved—" Dean's eyes flashed. "We've handled Chuck before," Dean said, more to convince himself than Sam. Rowena smiled slightly, enjoying the tension. "You handled him like mice handle a cat," she said. "He let you live." Dean's face twisted with rage. Lucifer's voice cut through it, calm and sharp. "Then this time," Lucifer said, "he will not decide alone." The bunker lights flickered again, just once, like laughter without a sound. Dean stared up at the ceiling. He felt it, that pressure, that watching. And he knew, deep down, that refusing to move would not stop what was coming. It would only make them blind when it hit. Dean looked at Sam. Sam looked back, eyes full of fear and stubborn hope. Dean swore. "Fine," Dean said. "We go. But we go on our terms." Lucifer's eyes held him. "You do not have terms," Lucifer said softly. Dean pointed at him anyway. "I have a gun," Dean said. "It's not useful, but it makes me feel better." Rowena laughed. "Oh, I like you," she said. Dean muttered, "Yeah, everyone does. It's a curse." And just like that, the next move started. Not with a fight. With a door. They didn't leave right away. Dean insisted on planning, like planning could tame a hurricane. Sam gathered books from the bunker shelves. Old lore, men of letters files, notes about Death's old house, the library, the bindings, the price. Castiel checked the warding and pulled out Enochian symbols that made Sam's eyes hurt just looking at them. Rowena drew a circle in chalk and ash and something that smelled like crushed herbs. "This is not a summoning," she warned, eyes serious now. "This is a knock, a polite one, on a door that hates being touched." Dean watched her hands. "What's the catch?" he asked. Rowena didn't smile. "There's always a catch," she said. "The library keeps records, but it doesn't like visitors. And if the empty notices you sniffing around in its neighbor's yard, it may wake." Castiel's voice went thin. "We cannot wake it." Lucifer stood near the map table, watching like it was all mildly interesting. "Then don't wake it," he said. Castiel looked at him sharply. "You don't understand what it is." Lucifer met his gaze. "Nothingness," Lucifer said. "A place that wants sleep." Castiel swallowed. "It is more than sleep," he said. Lucifer's eyes narrowed, as if he could already hear it breathing. "Then it will hate me," Lucifer said, almost pleased. Dean snapped. "Stop trying to make enemies." Lucifer glanced at Dean. "I don't try," he said. Sam stepped into the circle area with a book open. "Rowena," Sam said, "what do we need?" Rowena lifted a small jar. Inside was black dust that looked like ground coal. "Grave dirt from a reaper's path," she said. "A little angel grace. Don't look at me like that, I have connections. And a true name written in a dead language." Dean frowned. "We don't have a true name." Rowena's eyes flicked to Lucifer. "Oh, but we do," she said. Lucifer's face stayed calm. "Lightbringer," he said softly, as if tasting the word. Sam blinked. "The demon said that." Rowena nodded. "Yes," she said. "And demons don't toss that word around for fun. It carries weight." Dean didn't like any of this. He didn't like using names that sounded like worship. He didn't like witches opening doors. He didn't like walking into cosmic places where rules were written. He especially didn't like the feeling that someone wanted them to do it. But he looked at Sam, and he saw Sam's face. Sam needed answers, like a person needed air. Dean looked at Castiel. Castiel looked like he was balancing on a knife's edge between faith and betrayal. Dean looked at Lucifer. Lucifer looked intent, not bored anymore, not amused, focused. Dean blew out a breath. "Do it," he said. Rowena began to chant. The words were old. The air changed as she spoke them. The bunker lights dimmed. The circle lines glowed faintly, not with fire, but with attention, like something was looking back. Sam's skin prickled. He held on to the book like it could anchor him. Castiel clenched his jaw. His grace flickered under his skin, uneasy. Lucifer stepped closer to the circle. The chalk didn't flare. It didn't fight him. It just made room. like the rules were unsure if they applied. Rowena's voice rose. She poured the black dust into the circle. It swirled like smoke, then sank into the floor as if the floor was water. A sound came next, not a knock, a page turning. Then the bunker wall at the edge of the circle rippled. It didn't break. It opened, like a curtain pulled aside. A doorway appeared. On the other side was not a hallway. It was a room full of shelves, endless shelves, books stacked higher than any ceiling Dean could see, a long desk, a lamp, the smell of old paper and dust, and something colder under it. Sam's breath caught. "Death's library," he whispered. Dean swallowed hard. "I hate this," he muttered. Rowena smirked. "Of course you do," she said. Then she nodded toward the doorway. "After you, darling." Dean raised his gun out of habit and stepped through first. The air on the other side felt still, like the room had been holding its breath for centuries. Dean's boots hit polished wood. The sound echoed and died. Sam followed, eyes wide, scanning shelves like he expected one of the books to bite him. Castiel stepped in next. His face tightened, like this place pressed on his grace. Rowena entered with a delighted sigh. "Oh," she whispered, "this is beautiful." Lucifer stepped in last. The room changed, not visually, not with a quake or flash, but Dean felt it in his bones. Like the library itself noticed a new kind of presence and didn't know whether to reject it or record it. A lamp on the desk flickered once. Then a voice spoke from the dark between shelves. Not Chuck's, not Crowley's, not an angel. A calm voice, tired and ancient. "You do not belong here," it said. A figure stepped into view. Not death in a robe with a scythe like a cartoon. This was a reaper-like presence, human-shaped, with eyes that looked like they had read too much. They wore a plain suit. Their face looked calm, but their gaze was sharp. Dean raised his gun. "We're just—" The figure held up a hand. Dean's gun clicked empty. The bullets were gone. Dean's stomach sank. "Really?" Sam swallowed. "We need information," Sam said quickly. "About rules, about whoever is watching." The figure's eyes flicked to Sam, then to Castiel, then to Rowena. Then it looked at Lucifer. Its calm cracked. Just a little. Lucifer watched it like he was watching a clerk at a desk. "Hello," Lucifer said. The figure's voice turned careful. "What are you?" Lucifer's smile was small. "You already know," Lucifer said. The figure's eyes narrowed. "I know what walks this universe," it said. "I don't know what walks through it." Rowena's voice was soft, almost respectful. "We're not here to steal," she said. "We're here to read." The figure's gaze hardened. "Reading has a price," it said. Dean muttered, "Everything has a price." Sam shot Dean a look like, "Not now." Lucifer stepped forward. "I want the truth," Lucifer said, calm and sharp. "I want to know who speaks through angels, who watches, who writes." The figure's jaw tightened. "Those questions are dangerous," it said. Lucifer's eyes glinted. "So is ignorance," he replied. The figure stared at him, then glanced toward the desk. A book on the desk trembled slightly, like it wanted attention. Dean noticed and frowned. "What's that?" The figure's voice went flat. "That," it said, "is why you're here." The book's cover was plain, no title. But when Sam leaned closer, he saw the pages were already moving, flipping by themselves. Sam's heart pounded. That's not normal even for here." Castiel's voice was low. "It's reacting," he said. To him. Lucifer walked to the desk. The flipping pages slowed, then stopped on a blank page. Dean tensed. "Don't touch." Lucifer placed his fingers on the page anyway. Ink bloomed under his touch, forming words in clean lines, like the library was writing him into its system. Rowena's eyes widened. "Oh, darling," she whispered. "It's trying to catalog you." Lucifer's gaze stayed on the page. "This is a record," he said. Sam leaned in, reading the first line as it formed. Then Sam froze. Dean saw Sam's face change and felt dread. "What?" Dean demanded. "What does it say?" Sam swallowed hard. "It says, Lucifer," Sam said. Dean's jaw clenched. "Great." Sam shook his head quickly. "No, Dean, listen," Sam said. "It's not just the name. It's connecting him to our Lucifer. Like the story is trying to merge them." Castiel's face went pale. "That would be catastrophic," he said. Lucifer's eyes narrowed. "Your universe wants to define me," he said, voice cold. "It wants to fit me into its box," Dean pointed at the page. "So don't let it," Dean snapped. "Back off." Lucifer didn't move. "I didn't come to be labeled," he said. The figure by the shelves spoke again, tense now. "If the record binds you," it warned, "it will pull on what it believes matches. Your name here already belongs to an archangel. The system will try to correct the error." Sam's stomach twisted. "By bringing Supernatural's Lucifer closer," Sam said. Rowena's voice was sharp. "Or by pushing this one into that role," she said. Dean's throat went dry. "No," he said. "No, no, no." Lucifer's eyes turned colder than Dean had ever seen them. "I will not wear another man's chains," Lucifer said. The lamp flickered. A sound rolled through the library, deep and slow, like a sigh from a place beneath everything. Castiel stiffened. "No," he whispered. "That's—" Rowena's smile vanished. "The empty," she said, voice tight. The air between shelves darkened, not like shadows, but like a curtain dropping. Dean felt the hair on his arms rise. He couldn't see anything yet, but he felt it. A pressure, a silence that wasn't quiet, a silence that wanted everything to stop moving forever. A voice came from that darkness, not loud, not angry, just absolute. "Too much noise," it said. Sam's lips went numb. "The shadow," he whispered. The darkness shifted, and something like a shape formed, tall and thin, made of blackness and night. It didn't have eyes the way people did, but Dean felt it looking right at them. Right at Lucifer. Lucifer stood still, calm, but his attention sharpened like a blade drawn from a sheath. "You are awake," Lucifer said. The shadow's voice was flat. "You woke me," it said. "You don't belong. You are not part of the sleep." Lucifer's mouth twitched. "I don't sleep," he said. The shadow drifted closer, and the air went colder. "Everything sleeps," it said. Eventually. Dean's instincts screamed to run. Sam's mind raced for a spell. Castiel looked like he was about to pray and punch something at the same time. Rowena lifted her hand slowly, ready to cast. Lucifer raised one hand, palm open, as if telling everyone else to stay back. Dean hated it. But Dean also knew Lucifer might be the only reason they weren't already dead. The shadow stopped a few feet away from Lucifer. "You're loud," it said. "You disturb the rules." Lucifer's eyes narrowed. "I disturb cages," he corrected, "and I am looking for the one who built them." For the first time, the shadow's attention shifted, like the question mattered even to it. Then the shadow spoke, and the words were like cold water. "He writes," it said. "He plays. He wakes things that should sleep, and now you are here too." Sam's breath caught. "Chuck," Sam whispered. Dean felt sick. Lucifer's eyes flashed with a cold, pleased kind of anger. "So the writer has a name," Lucifer said. The shadow's voice stayed flat. "Names don't matter," it said. Sleep matters. Silence matters. And you are not silent. Lucifer's gaze didn't move. I won't apologize for existing, Lucifer said. The shadow moved, suddenly. Not fast like a punch, fast like a thought. It drifted toward Lucifer like it was trying to wrap him, pull him down, swallow him into quiet. Lucifer didn't step back. He snapped his fingers. The library froze. Not just the people. The air, the dust, the lamp flame. Even the shadow's drift stopped like it hit invisible glass. Dean's eyes widened. He could still breathe. Barely. It felt like moving in thick water, but he could move. Sam could move too. Castiel could move. Rowena could move. The shadow couldn't. Lucifer walked forward, calm, and placed 2 fingers against the blackness like it was a wall. The shadow's voice came out strained, like it hated being held. "You cannot bind me," it hissed. Lucifer's tone stayed calm. "I'm not binding you," he said. "I'm asking you a question." The shadow's voice dripped with hate. "I don't answer," it said. Lucifer's eyes went colder. "You already did," he said. "You said he writes. Where is he?" The shadow trembled, and the library shelves creaked like they were under pressure. "Everywhere," it said. "In the words, in the choices, in the endings." Dean swallowed hard. "That's not helpful." Lucifer glanced back at Dean for half a second. "It's honest," he said. Sam stepped forward carefully, voice tight. "If you know Chuck is doing this," Sam said to the shadow, "why don't you stop him?" The shadow's voice turned bitter. "He wakes me when he wants," it said. "He puts me back when he's bored. He treats even me like a prop." Lucifer's eyes sharpened. "So you hate him," Lucifer said. The shadow went quiet. Then it said, "I hate noise." Lucifer's mouth twitched. "Close enough," he said. Rowena lifted her hands, eyes fierce. "We have what we need," she snapped. "We leave now before it breaks the room." Castiel nodded sharply. "Dean," he said, urgent. "Now." Dean didn't argue. He grabbed Sam's arm. "Move!" Lucifer released his fingers from the shadow. Time snapped back like a rubber band. The shadow surged forward again, angry now, the library groaning as shelves rattled and books shook. Rowena shouted a spell and slammed her hands down. A circle of light flared around the group, not bright like heaven, but sharp like a blade. Castiel grabbed Dean's shoulder. Sam grabbed Rowena's coat. Dean lunged toward the doorway they came through. Lucifer didn't run. He turned back to the shadow, eyes cold. "You want silence," Lucifer said. "Then go back to sleep." He flicked his wrist. A force hit the shadow like a door slamming shut. The darkness shuddered, pulled backward, not destroyed, but pushed, driven. The shadow hissed, furious. "You can't keep me out forever," it said. Lucifer's smile was thin. "I don't need forever," he said. "I only need time." Then he stepped through the door with them. Rowena's circle collapsed. The doorway snapped shut like it had never existed. The bunker room came back into focus. The lights buzzed. The air warmed. Everyone stood there, breathing hard. Dean's heart hammered. He pointed at Rowena. "Never," Dean said. "Ever. Again." Rowena smoothed her coat like she hadn't almost died. "Oh, hush," she said, but her eyes were shaken. Sam stared at Lucifer, face pale. "It tried to merge you," Sam said. "The record." Castiel's voice was tight. "If that continues," he warned, "it will drag our Lucifer into play." Dean's jaw clenched. "Or drag him into our Lucifer's role," Dean said, pointing at Morningstar. Lucifer's face went hard and cold. "Let it try," Lucifer said. Sam's voice trembled. "That's the problem," Sam said. "If it tries, people die." Lucifer's gaze cut to Sam. "Then we stop the writer," Lucifer said. Dean laughed once, sharp and bitter. Yeah, Dean said. Sure. We'll just march up to God and tell him to knock it off. Lucifer's eyes flashed. No, Lucifer said. We will do something better. Dean frowned. What? Lucifer looked up at the ceiling like he could see through the bunker and into the sky beyond it. We will make him come to us, Lucifer said. Sam's blood ran cold. How? Lucifer's answer was calm. We will break his pattern, he said. We will refuse his expected moves. Dean's stomach tightened. And how do we do that? Lucifer's mouth curved slightly. By saving the people he wants to hurt, Lucifer said. And by doing it in a way he can't rewrite without showing his hand. Castiel swallowed. He will retaliate, he said. Lucifer's eyes stayed sharp. Good, he said. Let him. Dean felt rage and fear twist together inside him, because part of him wanted to say yes. Part of him wanted to punch the ceiling and scream at whatever had been writing their pain for years. But another part of him knew the cost. Sam looked down, voice low. If we poke Chuck, Sam said, we don't just poke heaven, we poke reality. Lucifer's gaze softened just slightly. Then be careful, he said. But don't be obedient. A harsh sound echoed from the bunker's radio again. Dean spun, gun up. Sam grabbed the angel blade. Castiel stiffened. The radio crackled to life on its own. Crowley's voice slid out, pleased and nervous at the same time. Well, he said, I felt that. You went sightseeing. Dean barked. Get out of our radio! Crowley ignored him. Bad news, boys, he said. Angels are mobilizing. Demons are mobilizing. And I just got a rumor that will make your skin crawl. Sam's voice went tight. What rumor? Crowley's tone turned sharper. There's a massacre, Crowley said. A small town. People ripped apart. Gray scorch marks on the walls. And guess who they're blaming? Dean's blood ran cold. Lucifer, Dean said, eyes snapping to Morningstar. Crowley chuckled, but it sounded strained. Oh, not just Lucifer, he said. They're saying the devil is loose and killing for fun. Sam's stomach twisted. We were here, Sam said. We didn't, Crowley cut in. Reality doesn't care where you were, he said. It cares what story fits. Dean stared at the radio, then at Lucifer. Lucifer's face was calm, but his eyes were sharp with anger now. He's framing me, Lucifer said. Castiel's voice went thin. Chuck, he whispered. Dean's hands curled into fists. He's forcing the plot, Dean said. Voice rough. Sam looked sick. He's trying to make the world fear him, Sam said. So everyone pushes him into the role. Rowena's voice was quiet, almost serious. Or to lure your other Lucifer out, she said. Name collisions make lovely chaos. Lucifer's jaw tightened. I won't play his part, Lucifer said. Dean pointed at the map. Then we go, Dean said. We save who we can. We prove it's a setup. Lucifer's eyes met Dean's. Good, Lucifer said. Now you're thinking. Dean hated that he sounded proud. Sam grabbed keys. Where is it? Sam asked Crowley. Crowley sounded almost happy to be needed. I'll send coordinates, he said. Try not to get yourselves killed. I'm invested now. The radio clicked off. Dean looked at Lucifer, voice low. You wanted him to show his hand, Dean said. Lucifer's eyes stayed cold. He did, Lucifer said. Dean swallowed hard. Then what's next? Lucifer's answer was quiet, and it made Dean's stomach drop. Now, Lucifer said, we see what he's willing to sacrifice to keep control. And they ran toward the new fire, because in this life, running was the only way to stay ahead of the smoke. 2 weeks later, the bunker felt less like a bunker and more like a storm shelter that a storm had decided to live inside. Dean kept a list on the map table. Missing people. Angel sightings. Demon deals. Fake news that spread faster than facts. Places where the air felt wrong, like the world had been edited. Every day, the list got longer. They chased the massacre Crowley sent them to. They found bodies. They found scorch marks. They found a few survivors hiding under a torn church pew, shaking and praying. They also found evidence that didn't fit. The grace burns were too neat. The demon residue was too clean. The scene looked made to be found, like it wanted a hunter's eyes on it. Sam said it first, voice tight. "It's staged." Dean didn't argue. That was the worst part. Because staged meant intention. It meant someone wasn't just causing pain. Someone was directing it. And every time they showed up somewhere like that, angels appeared after. Not right away. Not in the middle of the rescue. Always after. Always when the blood was already on the floor. Always when it was easy to point and blame. "They're trying to make a legend," Rowena said one night in the bunker, sipping tea like she wasn't surrounded by weapons. "A neat story. Devil arrives. Devil kills. World panics. Heaven responds." Dean glared at her. "Yeah, no kidding." Rowena lifted a brow. "No, darling. No kidding. This is a plan. And I don't like being in someone else's plan." Castiel stood by the shelves, tense and quiet. He spent his nights trying to reach any angel who still thought like a person. Most didn't answer. A few did. Their messages were short, scared, the same every time. "He's not our Lucifer, but the name is poison. He changes the air. He must be contained." Crowley kept calling, like he was a man who couldn't stop looking at a car crash. "Whole place is trembling, boys," he said through the radio on day 5. "I've got demons arguing about kneeling. I've got demons arguing about stabbing. And I've got angels watching every crossroad like they're waiting for a parade." Dean snapped back. "Stop talking to me." Crowley laughed. "You're welcome. I'm your news service." Lucifer stayed close to the bunker by choice. Not because Dean's devil's trap did anything. Dean kept drawing it anyway. Dean liked chalk lines. They made him feel like he had something in his hands. Lucifer never stepped into the trap again. He also didn't leave without telling them. He would stand at the top of the bunker stairs and say, calm as ever, "I'm going out." Dean would grab his keys and say, "No, you're not." Sam would sigh and say, "Dean, we can't keep him locked in here." Dean would point at Lucifer and say, "He says he doesn't like cages. Guess what? Neither do I. But I like people alive." Lucifer would watch Dean with that quiet interest, then say, "Come then." And they would go. Lucifer didn't fight like a hunter. He didn't even fight like an angel. He moved like the rules were optional, and he was simply choosing not to use them. But he also didn't turn every hunt into dust. Sam noticed that first. They were in a farmhouse outside Sioux Falls, chasing a thing that wore a woman's face and ate fear. It jumped from the ceiling beams and screamed right into Sam's ear. Sam stumbled back, hands shaking. Lucifer could have stopped time and ended it in 1 second. Instead, he watched Sam's eyes. He watched Sam's breath. Then he stepped in and ended it, clean, fast, and quiet. No show. No extra pain. After, Sam asked him, "Why didn't you just freeze everything?" Lucifer looked at him like Sam had asked why the sky was blue. "Because you were fighting," Lucifer said. "You weren't helpless. Don't let my power steal your spine." Sam didn't know whether to feel grateful or insulted. Dean pretended not to care. But Dean noticed too. He also noticed the small, weird things. Like the way the bunker light steadied when Lucifer played the old piano in the library room. Lucifer didn't play to impress anyone. He played like it was a habit that kept his mind from turning into knives. Dean stood in the doorway once, arms crossed, listening. Sam walked up beside him and whispered, He's good, Dean whispered back. Yeah, well, that's not comforting. Sam watched Dean's face. You're starting to trust him? Dean snorted. No, I'm starting to understand him. Big difference. Sam didn't push. Not that time. The money problem never went away. Dean's fake cards got burned faster now. Too many cameras, too many flags. Too many strange events that made every motel clerk stare hard at anyone who paid cash. One night, Dean slammed his wallet onto the table. I swear to God, Lucifer looked up from the piano bench. He already heard you, Lucifer said. Dean shot him a look. Don't. Lucifer stood and walked over, calm and infuriating. He placed a stack of bills on the table like he was putting down napkins. Dean froze. Where did you get that? Lucifer shrugged. I found it. Sam's eyes widened. Found it where? Lucifer's face stayed smooth. A man dropped it, he said. He did not deserve it. I picked it up. Dean stared at the money like it was a live snake. That's stealing. Lucifer tilted his head. Is it? He asked. If the man steals from 10 people and I take from him, what is that? Sam's voice went sharp. It's still messing with things, Sam said. That's how it starts. Dean swallowed, then shoved the bills back toward Lucifer. No. Lucifer watched him. Your pride is expensive, he said. Dean's jaw clenched. Yeah, well, so is being alive. Lucifer didn't argue. He just picked the money up and made it vanish with a simple motion, like it was never there. Sam exhaled slowly, relieved and still uneasy. Castiel watched all of it with a tired sadness. You refuse help, he said quietly. Dean shot him a look. We refuse cheats, Dean said. Lucifer's eyes flicked to Castiel. In your world, Lucifer said, cheats are just hidden rules. Castiel didn't answer. He couldn't, because the bunker was full of hidden rules now, and they all felt like hands on throats. Then, on day 14, the pattern changed. It was late, past midnight. Sam had fallen asleep with a book open on his chest. Dean sat at the table cleaning a gun that didn't need cleaning. Castiel stood in the hall like he was on guard duty against the universe. Lucifer was in the library room, fingers moving over the piano keys in a slow, careful line. A sound came through the bunker. Not footsteps, not a knock. A gentle clap, twice, like someone applauding softly. Dean's head snapped up, gun in his hand. What was that? Sam jolted awake, eyes wide. Dean? Castiel stiffened. His grace flared under his skin like a warning flare. Lucifer's playing stopped. Silence spread through the bunker like cold water. Then a voice spoke, not from a radio, not from a speaker, but from the air itself. Still playing the hero game, the voice said, warm and amused. I love that about you. Dean's face turned hard. Chuck, he said. Sam's throat went tight. He's here. Castiel whispered. God. Lucifer stood slowly from the piano bench and walked into the war room like he had been waiting for this. He looked calm, but his eyes were sharp enough to cut glass. A man appeared near the map table like he had simply decided to exist there. Plaid shirt, soft smile, ordinary face. Chuck looked at Dean and Sam like they were old friends who kept making the same bad choice. Then he looked at Lucifer, and his smile widened a little more. Well, Chuck said, that's new. Dean raised his gun. Get out. Chuck glanced at the gun, amused. Dean, come on, he said. You know that's not how this works. Dean's hand shook with anger, not fear. I said get out. Chuck sighed like Dean was exhausting. You're still doing the same thing, he said, standing in front of a freight train and hoping it stops because you look tough. Sam stepped forward, voice tight. Why are you doing this? He demanded. Why the traps? Why the framing? Why the angels? Chuck's smile softened. Because you always need a reason, he said. You can't accept that some stories are just built this way. Sam's eyes burned. We're not your story. Chuck's smile flickered. Sure you are, he said. You always were. Castiel's voice shook with something like grief. You promised you would stop, he said. You promised you would let them live. Chuck looked at Castiel, and for a second, the warmth left his eyes. I did let them live, he said. Over and over. I kept saving them. I kept rewriting the ending. And what did they do? They kept fighting the page? Dean's voice was low and dangerous. Because it was wrong. Chuck shrugged. Wrong to you, he said. Entertaining to me. Lucifer finally spoke. His voice was calm, but it carried weight. So you are the one, Lucifer said. Chuck tilted his head, studying Lucifer like a scientist looking at a rare animal. And you're not from here, Chuck said. That's the fun part. Lucifer took a step closer. The air felt tighter. Not because Lucifer was pushing, because the bunker itself seemed unsure what to do when two cosmic powers stood in the same small room. Lucifer's eyes narrowed. You speak through angels, Lucifer said. You stage suffering. You call it order. Chuck spread his hands. I call it structure, he said. It's my universe. My rules. Lucifer's mouth curved slightly. Rules can be broken, Lucifer said. Chuck laughed softly. That's cute, he said. You really think you can threaten me in my own house? Lucifer's eyes stayed cold. I'm not threatening, he said. I'm asking. Chuck blinked once. Asking what? Lucifer's voice was simple. Why? He said. Why do you need them to bleed to keep your world interesting? Chuck's smile tightened. Because without stakes, you get bored, he said. And when you get bored, you stop watching. Sam's stomach twisted. So this is about you, Sam said. Not us. Chuck's eyes slid to Sam. Everything is about me, he said, like it was obvious. I'm the one holding it together. Dean's voice went sharp. No, Dean said. You're the one breaking it. Chuck sighed. See, he said. That's exactly why I came. You never learn. Lucifer watched Chuck like he was watching a liar choose a lie. You are afraid, Lucifer said. Chuck's smile faltered for half a second. Then it returned, stronger, like a mask pulled tight. I'm not afraid, he said. Lucifer's eyes stayed locked on him. You're afraid of freedom, Lucifer said. You're afraid that if people choose their own path, you become irrelevant. Chuck's face hardened. I become irrelevant, he repeated, voice cold now. I made the path. Lucifer nodded slowly. And now you want to force them to walk it, Lucifer said. Dean felt his heart pounding. He didn't know what to do with this. He wanted to shoot Chuck. He wanted to punch the wall. He wanted to drag Sam out of the room and run. But he also didn't want to miss this. Because Chuck was finally here, standing in front of them. No tricks. No profit act. No distance. Sam's voice shook. What do you want? He asked. From him? Chuck looked at Lucifer again, and his expression shifted back toward curious. He's a glitch, Chuck said. A beautiful one. He doesn't fit my setup, but I can make him fit. Dean's stomach dropped. No, Dean said. You don't get to... Chuck ignored Dean. Here's the deal, Chuck said, casual like he was offering coffee. Lucifer Morningstar, right? You can go home. Door opens. Clean exit. No drama. Sam's eyes widened. You can send him back? Chuck shrugged. I can do a lot, he said. Lucifer didn't move. And the price? He asked. Chuck smiled. You take a role, Chuck said. You become what this world expects. You become the devil here. My Lucifer is messy. You're polished. You're smart. You could stabilize the whole heaven-hell mess. Dean snapped. He's not your employee. Chuck's eyes slid to Dean. And you're not my editor, he said flatly. Castiel's voice trembled. You would trade their lives for a better villain, he said. Chuck's smile returned. Villain, hero, whatever, he said. It's all parts. Lucifer's eyes narrowed. And if I refuse? He asked. Chuck's shoulders lifted in a small shrug. Then we keep doing what we're doing, he said. Pressure builds. Angels panic. Demons revolt. People die. The story corrects itself. Sam's breath caught. You're holding people hostage. Chuck's eyes didn't even blink. I'm keeping my world coherent, he said. Dean's voice went rough. You're a monster. Chuck's face turned colder. Careful, he said. Words have consequences. The bunker lights flickered. Dean felt a surge of fear, not for himself, for Sam, for Castiel, for every person they'd ever tried to save. Lucifer watched the lights flicker, then looked back at Chuck. You enjoy this, Lucifer said. Chuck's smile was thin. I enjoy control, he said. And I enjoy watching you all pretend you can take it from me. Lucifer's voice stayed calm, but it cut. You are not a god, Lucifer said. You are a jailer with a pen. Chuck's eyes flashed. The warmth disappeared completely now. And you, Chuck said, voice low, are an intruder. Lucifer nodded once. Yes, he said. I am. Chuck stepped closer, just one step. The air felt heavier. Sam's ears rang. Dean's vision blurred for a second, like the room tried to reset itself. Chuck spoke softly, like he was offering mercy. Take the deal, Chuck said. Go home or take the role. Either way, the noise stops. Castiel's eyes went wide. The empty, he whispered. As if the name was a doorbell, the temperature dropped. A shadow pooled in the corner of the room. Not normal darkness. A living absence. Dean's skin crawled. No, he muttered. Not now. The shadow didn't fully form, but its voice slipped into the room like a cold draft. Silence, it said, hungry and tired. Finally. Rowena wasn't in the room. That was lucky. If she saw this, she'd either faint or start bargaining. The shadow's presence made Castiel flinch like pain. It pressed on him, on his grace, on his very being. Chuck didn't even look bothered. See? Chuck said, turning his head slightly as if addressing a pet. Everything has its place. Lucifer's eyes narrowed at the shadow. You followed, Lucifer said. The shadow's voice hissed. You woke me, it said. You are loud. Chuck smiled. This is perfect, he said. You can end this right now, Morningstar. Take the deal. Leave. Or become what they fear. Sam's voice cracked. Don't, he said to Lucifer, almost pleading. If you take the role, it doesn't end. It just changes the shape of the cage. Dean's eyes locked on Lucifer. Dean didn't trust him. Dean didn't like him. But Dean knew something about cages. If Lucifer said yes, it would be easy. Too easy. Castiel looked at Lucifer with pain in his eyes. You don't owe us anything, Castiel said softly. But don't let him do this to them. Lucifer stood very still. He looked at Chuck, then at the shadow, then at Dean, Sam, Castiel. His voice was quiet. You want a choice, Lucifer said. Dean's jaw tightened. We want to live, Dean said. Lucifer nodded, almost to himself. Living without choice is breathing in a box, Lucifer said. Dean hated that it sounded true. Chuck's smile returned, sure and smug. So choose, Chuck said. Go home. Or take the part. Lucifer's eyes went cold again. No, Lucifer said. Chuck's smile froze. No, he repeated. Lucifer stepped forward, not rushing, not angry, just certain. "I will not take your role," Lucifer said. "I will not wear your mask. I will not become your villain." Chuck's voice sharpened. "Then you doom them," he said. Lucifer's gaze didn't move. "You doom them," Lucifer corrected, "because you can't stand not being obeyed." Chuck's face hardened. "You think you're special," he said. "You think you're above the page." Lucifer's voice stayed calm. "I am above your page," he said. Chuck's eyes flashed with anger, and the room shook. Books fell from a shelf. A light burst and went out. Dean stumbled, grabbing the table. Sam held his balance, face pale. Castiel gritted his teeth, trying not to collapse under the pressure. Lucifer didn't move. He lifted one hand, palm open, and the shaking stopped. Not because he was stronger than Chuck in some simple way, but because he refused to let Chuck use the room as a weapon. Chuck stared. "Interesting," he said, voice tight. Lucifer's eyes stayed locked on him. "You like patterns," Lucifer said. "You like forcing people to repeat. You like pushing them into roles." Chuck's jaw clenched. "Yes," he said, "because it works." Lucifer's voice was quiet and sharp. "Then I will break one," Lucifer said. Dean's stomach dropped. "What are you—" Lucifer snapped his fingers, not to freeze time, not to crush anyone. The sound was small, but the effect was not. For a second, Dean felt something loosen in the air, like a knot untied. Sam gasped. He felt it too, a pressure behind his thoughts. A weight he didn't know was there until it lifted. Castiel blinked hard, like he could breathe again. Chuck's eyes widened, the first real crack in his confidence. "What did you do?" Chuck demanded. Lucifer's voice was calm. "I cut a tether," he said. Chuck's face twisted with anger. "To what?" Lucifer glanced at Sam and Dean. "To you," Lucifer said. Dean's throat tightened. "What does that mean?" Lucifer's voice softened, just slightly, so the humans could follow. "It means," he said, "you can't push their hearts like buttons as easily anymore." Chuck's face went cold. "You can't do that," he said. Lucifer's eyes stayed sharp. "I just did," he replied. The shadow hissed in the corner, annoyed. "Noise," it said. Chuck ignored it now. His focus was on Lucifer. "You think you won," Chuck said. Lucifer shook his head once. "This isn't winning," he said. "This is refusing." Chuck's smile tried to return, but it didn't fit. "Fine," Chuck said. "I'll just rewrite." He paused. Because rewriting would mean showing his hand in full. It would mean forcing the world openly, not through natural events and coincidences. It would prove he was exactly what Lucifer said, and Chuck hated being seen. Lucifer watched the hesitation like a predator watching a weak step. "Do it," Lucifer said softly. "Rewrite them in front of them. Show them you're not a god. Show them you're a bully." Chuck's eyes burned. His voice turned low. "You don't know what you're messing with," he said. Lucifer's voice stayed calm. "I know exactly," he said. "You're not afraid of losing a world. You're afraid of losing your audience." Dean's heart pounded. He didn't fully understand cosmic tethers and authors, but he understood this. Chuck liked control because it kept him safe from being ignored. Sam's voice came out steady, surprising even him. "We're done," Sam said, staring at Chuck. "You don't get to write us anymore." Chuck's eyes snapped to Sam, sharp and cold. "Oh, Sam," he said. "You say that every season." Dean stepped forward, gun still up, even though it was pointless. "Yeah," Dean said, "and we keep meaning it." Chuck's gaze slid to Dean. "You still think you're tough," he said. Dean's mouth curved, not a smile. "No," Dean said. "I think I'm stubborn." Lucifer's eyes flicked to Dean, and for a second, there was something like approval there. Chuck looked back at Lucifer. "You can't stay," Chuck said, voice flat. Lucifer's voice was quiet. "Watch me," he said, using Dean's words back at him like a knife. Chuck's face hardened. "Then I offer you one last thing," he said. "Not a role, not a throne, a door." Lucifer didn't blink. Chuck spoke slower, as if he was forcing himself to be generous. "I can open the way back," Chuck said. "Clean. No damage, no ripple. You leave, and I stop pressing them. I stop stirring the angels. I stop using the demons. They get peace." Dean's breath caught. It was bait. It was obvious bait. And it was still tempting, because peace sounded good. Sam's eyes flicked to Dean. Sam didn't say it, but Dean heard it anyway. "What if we take it? What if this ends?" Castiel's voice shook. "He will not keep his word," Castiel said. "He never does." Chuck's eyes narrowed. "Careful," he warned. Lucifer's eyes stayed on Chuck. "You want me gone?" Lucifer said. "Because I'm not your character." Chuck's face was cold. "Yes," he said. "Because you make my universe unpredictable." Lucifer nodded slowly. "Then here is my answer," Lucifer said. He looked at Sam and Dean. His voice softened again, just enough. "I can leave," Lucifer said. "I can go back to my road. My freedom." Dean's heart hammered. He didn't want to admit it, but part of him didn't want Lucifer to leave, not because he liked him. Because Lucifer was the first thing Dean had seen in a long time that made Chuck hesitate. Lucifer continued. "But I will not trade my freedom for your peace," Lucifer said. "Not when the peace is a leash." Sam swallowed hard. Lucifer looked back at Chuck. "If you want to stop hurting them," Lucifer said, "do it because it's right, not because I'm bargaining with you." Chuck's jaw clenched. "So you refuse," he said. Lucifer nodded once. "Yes," he said. "I refuse." The shadow hissed again, louder. "Stop," it said. "Stop the noise!" Lucifer didn't look at it. "Go back to sleep," he said, voice sharp. The shadow trembled, angry, but it didn't surge. It stayed at the edge, like it remembered the library, like it remembered being pushed. Chuck's eyes flicked to it, annoyed, then back to Lucifer. Chuck's smile came back, thin and dangerous. "You think you've made them free," he said. "You haven't. Not really." Lucifer's gaze stayed steady. "Maybe not forever," Lucifer said, "but long enough." Chuck's eyes narrowed. "Long enough for what?" he asked. Lucifer's voice was calm. "Long enough," Lucifer said, "for them to remember that their choices are theirs." Dean felt something in his chest loosen again, a tight knot he didn't even know was there. Chuck stared at them all, then shook his head like they were all disappointing. "Fine," he said. "You want a world without guidance? Enjoy the mess." He stepped back. The air shifted as if the room tried to smooth itself over, like a page being turned. Chuck paused one last time and looked at Lucifer. "You're not the first thing that tried to defy me," he said, "but you are loud enough to be annoying." Lucifer's smile was small. "Good," he said. Chuck vanished, not with a boom, not with sparks, just gone, like he had never been there. The bunker lights steadied. Dean's knees felt weak. He sat down hard in the chair. Sam exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for years. Castiel stood very still, eyes wet, like he didn't know what to do with hope. Lucifer looked up at the ceiling, listening. For a moment, the calm slipped. Not fear, not doubt. More like focus. "He's still here," Sam said quietly. Lucifer nodded. "Yes," he said. "But he's annoyed." Dean let out a rough laugh. "Awesome," Dean said. "We annoyed God." Sam looked at Lucifer, voice soft. "What did you cut?" Sam asked. "Really?" Lucifer's eyes met Sam's. A simple thing, he said. A small hook. A way for him to steer you when you're tired, when you're angry, when you're easy to push. Dean stared at him. So we're… what? Harder to control now? Lucifer nodded. Yes, he said. Harder. Not impossible. Castiel's voice was quiet. He will retaliate, he said. Lucifer's gaze turned cold again. Let him try, Lucifer said. Dean rubbed his face with both hands. Great, he muttered. So we're back to try not to die, but with extra cosmic drama. Sam almost smiled. Almost. Dean looked up at Lucifer. So what now? Dean asked, voice rough. You stay? You leave? You… what? Lucifer's eyes drifted toward the bunker stairs, toward the world above. I don't join teams, Lucifer said. Dean snorted. Yeah, no kidding. Lucifer looked back at them. But, he said, I also don't enjoy tyrants. Sam's voice was careful. So you're… with us? Lucifer's mouth twitched. I'm beside you, Lucifer said. Not under you. Not above you. Dean stared at him for a long moment. Then he nodded once, sharp and reluctant. Fine, Dean said. Beside us. Sam's shoulders eased. Castiel's breath shook. Thank you, he whispered, like it hurt to say it. Lucifer looked at Castiel. Don't thank me, Lucifer said. Thank yourself for still caring. Then, like the universe couldn't stand peace, Dean's phone buzzed again. Dean checked it and groaned. You've got to be kidding me. Sam glanced over. What? Dean held up the phone. Card declined, he said. Again. Sam let out a small laugh. It sounded strange in that room after what just happened. Lucifer watched them. You truly are committed to suffering, he said. Dean glared at him. Shut up. Lucifer's eyes flicked to the phone, then to Dean. I can fix that, he said. Sam's voice snapped quick. No. Lucifer looked at Sam. Still afraid of debt, he said. Sam swallowed. Still afraid of cages, Sam replied. Lucifer stared at him for a moment. Then he nodded once. Slow. Fair, Lucifer said. Dean leaned back in his chair, exhausted. Okay, Dean muttered. So we annoyed God, scared the empty, and we're still broke. Sam sighed. Sounds like us, he said. And for the first time in days, the bunker felt like a place where the air wasn't being forced into a shape. Not safe, not calm, but real. The next morning, Dean was in the garage. He had the hood of the Impala open. His hands were dirty. That helped. Grease was honest. Engines had rules you could learn. When you fixed something, it stayed fixed, at least for a while. Dean tightened a bolt and wiped his hands on a rag. The radio in the garage played low. Some classic rock. Something normal. Behind him, footsteps approached. Dean didn't turn right away. He already knew who it was. The air felt different when Lucifer walked near. Not heavy. Just… awake. Lucifer stopped beside the car and looked down into the engine like it was a puzzle. You love this machine, he said. Dean snorted. It's not a machine. It's family. Lucifer nodded slightly. Family, he repeated, as if he was turning the word over in his mind. Inside the bunker, Sam sat at the table with a book open. His eyes moved across the page, but his mind kept drifting. He felt lighter. Not happy. Not safe. But lighter. Like a hand that used to press on his chest had backed off, just enough for him to breathe. Castiel stood near the map, watching the hallway like he expected heaven to kick down the door. He looked tired, but his eyes were clearer than they'd been in a long time. Rowena was gone. She had left before dawn, coat over her shoulders, eyes sharp. I'll be in touch, she had said, unless I'm dead. In which case, don't summon me. It's rude. Crowley hadn't called yet, which meant he was either planning or panicking. Sam heard the piano start again. Slow notes. Simple. Clean. It wasn't a song to impress. It was a habit. Like breathing. Sam leaned back and listened. He thought about the library, about the Shadow's voice, about Chuck's smile when he admitted what he was. Sam hated that smile. But Sam also felt something new now. Not hope like a miracle, hope like a decision. Dean came in from the garage, rubbing his hands. "Okay," he said. "We got work to do." Sam looked up. "What's first?" Dean pointed at the map. "First, we check the last 3 weird deaths," he said. "Second, we keep Cass from getting jumped by Heaven. Third, we keep Mr. Fancy Pants from starting another angel war." Lucifer walked into the room behind Dean, as if Dean had summoned him by being annoyed. "I heard that," Lucifer said. Dean didn't look back. "Good," Dean said. "Be annoyed. It builds character." Lucifer's mouth twitched. "You are very proud of being difficult," he said. Dean shrugged. "It's all I've got." Lucifer's gaze moved to Sam. "And you," Lucifer said. "Are you still looking for answers?" Sam swallowed. "Always," he said. Lucifer nodded once. "Good," he said. "Just don't let answers become another cage." Sam blinked. "That's actually good advice," Sam said. Dean made a face. "Don't encourage him." Castiel stepped forward, voice quiet. "Heaven will respond," he said. "They will test the boundary you made." Lucifer looked at Castiel, calm. "Let them test," he said. "If they come to kill humans to make a point, I will stop them." Dean's jaw tightened. "Without blowing up a town," Dean said. Lucifer's eyes flicked to Dean. "Yes," Lucifer said. "I understand collateral damage. I'm not a child." Dean stared at him. For a second, he almost said something like thanks. It stuck in his throat. Dean settled for a grunt. Sam closed his book and stood. "Then we keep doing what we do," Sam said. "We save people." Dean nodded. "We save people," Dean echoed. Lucifer watched them, and his expression shifted in a way Sam couldn't fully name. Not warmth, not softness. More like recognition. As if he finally understood what made 2 weak humans stand in front of gods and refuse to kneel. Lucifer turned toward the bunker stairs, toward the world above. "This universe is still sick," he said. "But it's not hopeless," Dean snorted. "Hope's expensive," he said. Lucifer looked at him. "So is despair," Lucifer replied. Dean opened his mouth, then shut it. He hated that Lucifer kept winning little arguments like that. They gathered their gear. Guns, blades, salt, holy water. Old habits. Before they left, Sam paused and looked back at the bunker, at the table, at the books, at the lights. It looked the same as yesterday, but it didn't feel the same. It felt like the bunker belonged to them again. Not to heaven, not to hell, not to an author, to them. As they climbed the stairs, Sam felt a strange calm settle in his chest. They were still in danger. They always would be. But now, when the universe tried to push, it might have to push harder. And if it pushed harder, it would show its hand. Dean opened the door to the outside world. Cold air rushed in. The sky was gray. The road was wet. The world looked normal. Dean glanced up at the clouds and muttered, "Don't you start." Sam almost laughed. Lucifer stepped out behind them, suit still perfect, eyes on the wide-open sky like it was a challenge. Castiel followed, coat fluttering. They walked toward the Impala, toward another case, toward another fight. Not because the story demanded it, because they chose it. And somewhere far away, something watched in silence, annoyed and hungry. But for now, the road was theirs.